Welcome to The Dragon's Tome, issue number 20, episode number 20. It's all about 20. November 78. And we have this beautiful Halloween... Wait a second, November? Halloween? I don't know.
What is going on here?
It's even got an orange, and there's a pumpkin in the 20. I think somebody miscounted when they were laying out the things. We'll get to that, though. It's
last
a haunted
week we
carriage.
we had a pap smear of a cover in the middle of October. Now we have what would be a fantastic... I like this, by the way.
I do like this cover. This is like one of my...
It's very Disney to me.
Yeah, the very best part about this cover I love is the fact that you got both the clown and they're screaming her head off, and the Count from Sesame Street yelling at the driver to slow down.
And the driver's got a skeleton head.
Hey, slow down up there!
There's this
I
couple
count one
nightmares.
ghost.
Yeah.
Two ghosts. Yeah, so it's a haunted carriage being accosted by ghosts, so I don't know what's going on here. But it's a horrible Halloween issue in November, so somebody screwed up somewhere. But $2 still. It's the price of inflation, which they will discuss in Dragon Rumbles, which will be coming out.
Maybe the ghosts are giving that skeleton driver the what ifs for almost running them over. You see those three guys turning their heads back, and it looks like hey, watch where you're going.
Yeah, you killed us. You killed us.
We're floating around out here, buddy. Watch it.
They're New Yorkers. They're slapping the hood of the carriage.
Still don't know who drew it because Dragon doesn't believe in crediting its artists anymore.
It's too bad, because that's actually a really good cover.
So, we'll move on to Dragon Rumbles. This is another issue with the Timothy Cask. He's back. No guy gets to jump in on him this time. He blames the cover price, new cover price, on inflation, and the paper cost is increased. It sounds very familiar to nowadays.
Well, look, he says the paper alone has gone up 21%.
Yeah, and postage up 60%. It sounds very familiar to the current situation. It's true. All BS. It's all lies. It's just the ways to make more money. Anyways, in last issue, remember how we were saying how the Fantasy Forge looks so good? But we didn't actually look at it, but the cartoons were terrible. Like, the color on the cartoons was way off. It's because the printer screwed up a color separation on last issue. Jack, you can talk to us more about color separation, but do you think that's what helped with the being able to see the images on the Fantasy Forge better?
No, not at all. In fact, I know you claimed that the paper costs was a fabrication, a bold-faced lie, and that Timothy Cask was just being greedy. I can't imagine that a printing error through a whole magazine for an entire run would have happened, but
that's what they said. He blamed that the color on the comics, at least, it was all screwed up. We never looked at it, but I guess I don't read the comics because I don't really care about, what is it, Phineas Fingers or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like that comic.
I tried, and even the last one I did read it, and I couldn't make any sense, heads nor tails of what it was supposed to be. It wasn't funny. I don't know. It's no draw for me. But
we'll get to good ones later.
But speaking of printing errors, now that we're highlighting that, there's another printing error that is addressed in this magazine, which I do find a little humorous. That if no one else brings up, I will be addressing.
Is this a little teaser?
Yes. So nice. No one go anywhere. You sit through these commercials.
Just so you can check out this printing error.
We've got some battery-operated toothbrushes and some mattresses we're going to be shilling at about the midway mark, so just sit tight.
He also says this is a Halloween issue in November because November is a dreary month. That's his defense of why it's in November instead of October.
He also says Monopoly is a fantasy game.
Yes, he also pre-defends the article about Rail Barons that's coming up in the next issue. Because he wrote it, and he says Rail Barons is going to be as big as Monopoly, and board games should be in this because they're still fantasy games.
I do think Rail Barons is still around though.
Yeah, but is it
Is
big
it?
as Monopoly?
Oh no!
Is there a Metallica Rail Barons?
You know why it's never going to be as big as Monopoly? It's
Star
because
Trek? Or Star
it
Wars?
doesn't have the word Hasbro after its name.
Maybe. Who made the Rail Barons? Anyways.
I think Parker Brothers had it first.
Are they still
Made
around? I didn't
Monopoly.
really think they're around anymore. Hasbro
No,
owns
but then-
all those companies anyways.
Yeah, but Hasbro got a hold of it and then licensed the crap out of it, so it will never.
Anyway, see, the next issue we get to look forward to a whole article about Rail Barons, so look forward to that. Come back next week for that one. But pretty much that's all Dragon Rumbles. There's no, he does have to reprint the responses in Gygax's thing from last issue because it was slightly, the way he laid it out was slightly confusing, I guess. And it made it look like Gygax said some of the things he said or vice versa, but they reprinted the editorials from last week. Or last month. So.
When we're talking about Skillshare and stuff like that, you don't have to wait because Rob now has just addressed what I was going to address.
Oh, was it? Is that
Yeah.
what you're going to talk about? Yeah,
Yes.
They screwed up the layout, eh?
Yeah, it was whoever did the layout wasn't. Honestly, you could read it and it was still fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue, I don't think. But,
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it. I knew who was talking who.
yeah.
It wasn't a great way to lay it out by any stretch of imagination, but it wasn't confusing enough that someone must have complained.
Do you think it was
Someone must have
Gygax was like, I don't want them thinking
I
what
think
you said
it was Gary. Gary couldn't figure. My ass kicking is not clear and concise.
Yeah. And I want your apology in 2 issues, not just 1.
Yeah.
I wanted to be clear that you've been dressed down there, boy.
Yeah, that's right. That could be it. Anyways, that's the Dragon Rumbles. We'll start with Jack. Jack, what do you got on tap for us today?
Well, I wanted to do page 5, the Dragon Rumbles redo, but
Hey, it's Dragon Rumbles. That's all mine, man.
oh, that is true.
I like it.
So
Look at this big block they had to put around it too, eh? There's like a thick outline.
thick. Okay. So this I'm doing out of spite. We're going to
Yes.
go down to page 8.
8.
And yes, 8.
Star Trek miniatures? Oh, wait.
The one that the one that looks like a little snowman.
Page 8 in the reader or page 8
In the magazine.
Okay.
It is Mythos of Polynesia, and I know Pat has been talking about this one for 3 episodes now.
Yeah,
So he stole it from him?
subterfuge.
Yeah, yes, and so I knew if I didn't jump on this, that he'd been looking forward for so long, and I've taken it. So
That's
basically, it's
Piggyback.
we'll piggyback you.
I'll give you my 2 cents as you're talking, boy.
Mythos Polynesia by Jerome Arkenberg.
Same
and-
guy as last time.
No, it's a different guy.
No, it's the same guy as the Australian one.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Oh, I
have
thought it was
no
that
idea.
Alan Hamburg.
No, that was something else. This was the same guy because I remember his name.
And it's not the one that Rob hoped was dead. His name was like
No.
Mike Crane or
Crane.
something.
Crane, yeah. My arch nemesis, Mike Crane.
Yep.
That'd be funny if his name comes up again. We'll see.
Well, it's got to.
Maybe not. Gygax seems to ban people from the magazine quite often, so...
Anyways, so the long and short of it is, it's the gods and goddesses of Polynesia, and
So if you watched the movie, what is it? My game is
Moana.
Moana, yes.
Moana.
Would
These
we,
people are in
would we
it.
know all this? Would we all know?
He's in there. He's
This is
actually
like-
in there. If you go to the second page, Maui's there. Challenger of the Gods.
Wow.
That's
at
the
that.
rock character right there.
oh, there he is, right there. There's the rock, right there.
And if you ever been to Hawaii and you ever went to the Polynesian Center, you'll see a lot of these names in these docs when they talk about Polynesian culture.
I wonder if he did that. Maybe he had a tour of Australia and Polynesia, and that's when he came back and wrote these articles.
Well, maybe he did. It would be nice. I don't know how long the Polynesian Center's been in Hawaii.
Well, it seems that I've learned a valuable lesson today. I took this article for a larf and didn't know that much about it. Now we're being educated by Patrick, who probably could have done a far better job. I didn't
still
even
can.
have
I
didn't
take
even
these
have
mythos kind of seriously because I do enjoy the
I
different.
know you do, and I thought it'd be cheeky. And now Rob's even got Moana references he's making, and I just showed up like an idiot, just going, "Hey guys, look what I did!
Unprepared.
I just I took a dump on the kitchen floor, and everyone look."
So,
I'm
Pat, what's your
sorry.
first article that might be this article so we can talk about it legitimately?
Yes.
I mean, it's a nice little show up after we talked about the Australian mythos, and I had made the comment that I had wished it maybe included more Ring of Fire islands, and here it is, the whole Polynesian mythos, which I think is great.
It is neat to see other mythos.
Again, yeah, because when we talk mythos, there's the Bible, and then there's the standard
All I
Roman.
know about Hawaiian mythos is I learned on Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I mean, even if we go back to the upcoming Deities and Demigods book, even King Arthur, they call it the Arthurian mythos, got a spot in there. None of these Polynesian people got a pick.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird though, because Hawaii Five-0 was very popular in the 70s.
But
Welcome,
they didn't
Daniel.
focus on the gods in Hawaii Five-0 too much.
No. Coelho, it's got all of them. It's even got the heroes, not just Maui in itself, even though they only used Maui and Moana.
Yeah.
Do you
Pat, you
want to
have
build a snowman?
Wrong one. I don't know any songs from
That's the Norse. That's the Norse mythos.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's probably. I think it is actually based on. Isn't it based on like Polish or some other northern, not Norse, but northern, like Finland or somewhere? I think it's based on one of those mythos that the whole story of the ice princess. It's one of those. Anyways, we'll get to that eventually in this magazine, I'm sure.
Yeah. Should I start and do an actual real article this time?
Yeah.
Yes,
Since
please.
Jack stole yours, please do a real article.
Let's go to page 3.
Tree,
Let's do
like
that.
when we were so close to where we were.
So, as I was looking at the cover and I was just trying to perusing it before I started reading the magazine, the last thing on the cover says Imperium, best game of 1977. I went, what? What is Imperium? And then we got to this article. I got to this article and I actually read the whole thing. It's a nice breakdown of a game I've never played, but now I want to play.
Yeah, isn't it something to do with Traveler? I think it's got...
A little bit. It's based. It's like it includes Traveler jump routes and stuff like that. So it's
I think
a
it's
game
a
by
board
itself
game version of
Traveler. I think so too. And it's kind of 4X-y in itself from what I can read. So like a prequel to 4X gaming. And again, this was also made by Games Designer Workshop. Was based out of Illinois. But he gives a nice little breakdown to the point where I was now intrigued and I think the Imperium is still out.
Well, there's Twilight Imperium, which has nothing to do with this. Twilight Imperium is based on the Dune game.
I have
one of the Dune games, I think so.
No, Twilight
this
Imperium is a different game, but itself, it's not based on the Dune game. I have Twilight Imperium. It's in the Horde. And that's a game that takes about 17 days to play.
Yeah.
But Imperium sounds like it's a little faster and more loose than that. So,
Well, you have to go figure it out.
I will figure it out, and guess what's going to happen? One of these days, I'm going to talk about. You'll never guess what I got.
That's right.
We're going to have that conversation again.
Would never suspect it that you would just go on eBay and buy random stuff.
No.
My first one after Dragon Rumble Size technically is on page 26.
Ooh.
I hope I didn't steal it from somebody else.
No one's taking this. A good day to die.
I can't even find it now. Where are the page numbers on this thing?
They're back in the center.
It's 28. It's 28 by the PDF.
Anyways, it's Good Day to Die, Death Statistics for D&D players. This is from my group in, I think it's in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, in Canada.
Oh.
They collected the stats of all the deaths for 3 years, like 2 to 3 years, he said. 600 deaths in their group. In 2 to 3 years. 600.
An angry GM.
Hey, how much are they playing? I wish I could play enough times to die 600 times, but they might be dying multiple times in one night. And second of all, they kept the stats for it all. These people are nuts. But
That's true. Look at 20 people died from giant insects.
Oh, it's the crazy. These are the crazy stats. Anyways, and 18 deaths by players on each other, which that's another thing that back in the day, I guess it still happens if you get jerks in your group that they just murder each other.
Oh, treachery.
They also say 5... What?
I'm surprised the goblin race is on the top.
It's because they said that he explains it. They say that they fight goblins a lot more often, so that's why they get skewed that way. 5 deaths by suicide, and my comment was I'd kill myself too if I was in this group, because
wow,
that's nuts. But yeah, he breaks down why each one's up there, and he groups them all together, and it is crazy that there's that many deaths in a D&D game in 2 to 3 years. Maybe in my lifetime, I never would get to 600.
I will say I have a friend. His name is Don, and this guy is probably...
plays War Machine now. He replaced...
No.
Not Don Cheadle?
No.
Oh, I thought you meant played War Machine the game.
Yeah, that's
game.
why
I was confused. I was like, where's he going with this?
You can't... so, let me say, he's a nice guy I know. One of the nicest guys I know compared to you two. Yeah. And in comparison, I'm saying you two are probably one of the two nicest.
I thought you said he's nice compared to you guys, because everybody's nice compared to you guys.
He's nice compared to you guys, and proceeds to tell us how horrible he treated his players.
No, that's not what that came out wrong, honestly. But he is probably one of the most unluckiest people I know in life, and not like you would think this guy would be dead in real life. Like, he came over to my house one day, and he's rubbing his hand, and he goes, oh, that's healing up real nice. I go, what are you talking about? Well, he goes, I was using an electrician. And he goes, I was working on some electricity in that arc between my hands. He's got 2 black marks from the center of his palm when he arced across, and he said, I got thrown 10 feet. He's cutting a branch off a limb off a tree at his house, and the ladder fell, so he's hanging by the limb of the tree with the arm that's got the chainsaw running. And he's eating breakfast one time, and a tree falls through his kitchen and misses him.
Well, I'd say you're lucky then.
That's real life stuff. When we played D&D together, it was worse.
He just trip and fall and break his neck.
Yeah, the 600 is a lot, but it doesn't surprise me that many people could die, because Don went through a plethora of characters. Well, he went through like 4 characters one night, because his first character was a dwarf cleric in playmail armor who casted Walk on Water, and we were on a boat on a big ship. And he didn't tell anyone he was going down there, but he jumped overboard to punch holes into the ship, but forgot to heal himself and got hit by a stray arrow and then drowned because he didn't tell anyone was down there.
And he was your healer, probably. So you're like,
yeah.
Hey.
And we're like, oh, God, Tom. And he goes, well, looks like we're willing. So then you go out to the living room and then start rolling up another character.
Like some of these, I know that some of these are people falling out of windows and stuff and dying. Like you said, the falls are either people falling 10 feet out a window and dying, or falling 10,000 feet off a cloud. Like, it's such weird stats.
That would be Don. Don would be that guy.
I had a character whose whole motto was, no one's ever died jumping out of a second-story window.
And so he died.
I was in the, no, he never died. But this guy would have killed him
every time. He would just be like, I can do it.
Nobody's ever died jumping out of a second-story window. So, but this guy would have killed him. This DM would have killed him for sure. Crazy that that many deaths, and they keep the stats, and they're still playing. That's the crazy part. I don't know if I could handle a game that many deaths. But I guess that's why the red box for a long time was just up to level 3, because nobody got past level 3.
Well, probably true.
Yeah. So, Jack, do you have another one?
I do. If we want to, we'll keep it close. We're going to go to page in the magazine 23. So we're just going to go back a few pages here. Boop, 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 boop.
Yes, I thought you might talk about this one.
I thought you were going to talk about this too. That's why I didn't touch it.
Yes, I'm the bad man.
That's my friend. It's my friend Alan Hammock.
Yeah, there he is, Alan Hammock. He sounds comfortable. Anyways, it is a preview of the Lord of the Rings. It's the Bashki version that we all know and love. We've seen before, but it hadn't come out yet.
So the one we were talking about before must not have been. We thought it was this one, but it must have been a different version. Remember there was like a special on CBS or something, and we thought it was this one.
Yeah, I don't know, because this one is the one that they have, like, unless this article is woefully out of date, I don't know. But this is talking about, they've got scoops like who's going to do the voice acting. He was
so it's
hoping
not
that
actually out yet. Like it's like when you get a magazine, it tells you like the previews of what's going to happen. Yeah.
Right. And he was like, oh, well, can I hope for Sir Alec Guinness to be Gandalf and stuff like this? But it goes...
guy who plays Dracula is Sauron. Oh, wait. Too early. Too early.
Yeah. Christopher Plummer.
This is the version where they used live action like orcs and animated them, right? Animation over the top of them.
Yeah, it's a lot of early animation, like a lot of Disney stuff's done that way.
Well, he says in this article it's the first time it was done fully. He said before there had been stills of people done over, but this is actually done over the film stuff. So the long and short of it is, it was people. This guy was looking forward to the release, and he talks about how the producers went and talked to Tolkien's family, went and talked to the publisher, and made sure all the I's were dotted and all the T's were crossed. And so it was talk about this, who did the screenplay. It was very interesting. So that I would recommend anyone. It's not the full story in any way, shape, or form, but it was a good movie. It was a classic. I liked it.
The problem is it just ends like it's like only the first half or first third of the trilogy. Like they never did make more of them, so the story just kind of ends.
That's right. They never put the movies, finished them up.
Once again, it probably was too expensive. They probably didn't make enough money for them. They never finished it, so like did the other movies. So I'm sure we'll later hear. Oh, it was such a disappointment because it doesn't have them all. But Jack, it has your favorite song in it, so.
Well, again, I remember the one where there's a whip, there's a way.
That was from The Hobbit, wasn't it?
But I don't know, because the Lord of the Rings one I think does end and The Hobbit doesn't. Lord of the Rings one is the one that has, I think.
Maybe I'm mixing up the two then, yeah.
I think that's the one.
No, I think Hobbit ends and Lord of the Rings doesn't, because
Frodo. I think my favorite song in this one was Frodo of the Nine Fingers and the Ring of Doom. I think that's what it was.
Anyway,
I think this one does have an ending. I think they do have him.
I don't know. We have to go back and
you know what? As a matter of fact, I think they both have endings, because I do remember Sam. If you look at the top corner of this article, that's where Frodo can't go on, and Sam helps him carry the ring for a little bit.
But one of them doesn't end, because I remember watching it and being like, "Why isn't this end?" It just stops.
But it doesn't, because you see Smaug die in The Hobbit, because what's his face shoots him in the.
One of them. I'm telling you, one of them doesn't end. Anyways.
All right, we're gonna have to watch them all.
Yeah, we'll have to do a special episode of commentary watching them.
Of who ends and who doesn't.
Everyone just stay right where we are. We'll be right back. We're just the three of us are gonna go watch 2 movies. Just wait here. Do your taxes. It's that time of year. We'll be gone for a second, and we'll be right back.
Nice. And we're back. Pat, what's your next article?
Speaking of taxes, my last article is on page 32.
32?
All the way at the bottom. And it's Demonic Possession in the Dungeon by Chaz.
Chaz Segu.
Yeah, so as I was reading this, I was taking into consideration things in what I could be doing with this when we play D&D, and I thought it was a nice little. How he does it, of course, is very, very malevolent. In my head, I was thinking how it would be a nice little dungeon trap. It goes into different ways of how to get possessed while you're in the dungeon. They talk about the effects of the possession, like it's usually an amulet or an artifact that's separated, and it has like an area of effect, so that person stays possessed. One of the things I wouldn't do, what they do in this one is they talk about how there's you don't tell the player character she's possessed until it's time, and then you have them attack.
Yeah, a lot of it's player-on-player violence.
Yeah, so how I would like to do it is, like we would do now, let the person know they've been possessed, but now they have to role play their character as that
nowadays
and try not to be found out.
Yeah, nowadays you trust your player enough to be like, oh, you get to have some fun now. Screw around, you're possessed, and
drop a couple hints. I want to see some reactions, but I don't want everyone to know just yet. You have fun.
Like if
Let's see how
cleric
this...
or a paladin in the thing, then it would make it harder for them because they could sense something is wrong.
Or you're purposely just trying to get them killed by nudging them over a cliff, or
Yeah.
But you're trying to do it subtly, so you're not going to do it that it'll actually work probably. But
yeah, if you're trying to.
Did you just try to push me? No, I would never do that.
You're trying to rid of the dominant player. You just
or the ones that could get the paladins and the clerics who could get it out of you. So
yeah. So it's a nice in that sense. It was a nice article. You have to take it for what it is, of course. You have to take it as if you look at it in an aspect what you can use it for. It's great. Yeah. But if you're reading it just to read it, then you're like, wow, this guy's kind of this is another aspect of angry GMs trying to kill all their players.
Yeah. I think a lot of these you have to look at that skewed perspective at this point. I don't know. I'm curious to see when it's going to start changing, to see when it's going to be more cooperative, not so much competitive. So I assume it does. When I was reading Dragon, I don't remember it being like this, but
I'm probably around 2nd or 3rd edition, probably, because I think it would probably start to roll around.
I don't know.
2nd edition was still a little angry.
We never played that way, so it's it always confused me.
But I have been in groups that have.
That way.
Yeah.
My cousins, that's how they started. We started when we played with my cousins. We were that way, and then I got into another group when I went to California, and they played a different way, which was the more way we play now, and that was better.
Yeah, because I remember playing it as a combat simulation, and it was pretty dry. And then once I started playing it as a mutual storytelling device, I was like, I cannot go back to...
No, that's where it shines, for sure.
Yeah, that's where role-playing shines for me. Everyone's different. I know I played again in my 30s there, and it was a little more of the same old attacking party members.
Well, especially if that was D&D 4th edition, where was it 4th? Yeah, I think so, where it was all combat based. It was... Oh, yeah,
it was all feats and everything. It was
yeah. Well, still, those are still around, feats, unfortunately, but...
Well, yeah, I mean...
even 5th edition, and there's a lot you can do every turn, which is too much. It used to be you could move and do an action.
It's too much. Everyone's a wizard now.
Yeah, it's also more board gamey-ish with the figures, and then with the aspect of role play in between.
Yeah, 4th for sure was definitely a game almost. Well, right now the number one selling miniature in the world, way better than GW, is those D&D miniatures. So it's still true. People play D&D with miniatures. So, and I think Critical Role is responsible for part of that, because when they do combat, they bring out the miniatures, which I think is a good way to do it. But the rest of the time, they don't use miniatures, which is also...
Yeah, I like map or figures for combat. It brings a little life to the...
Well, it's a little more clear where everybody is. And
yeah, and just a little bit of life to what is normally just kind of dice rolling.
Well, especially with... Well, that's if you don't play it. You should be explaining what you're doing. But The Critical Role also is a huge group. It's like 8 players. So that's when you get that many players, it's hard to keep track of where everybody is. When it's like 1 or 2 players, okay, this guy's on this side of the table, this guy's over here. Like it's a little more easier. Sure. Anyways, enough philosophy. Yeah. The only other one I have is on page 20. It's just a quick little shot about it's really, I wanted to point out because it's about Traveller. And Traveller, we mentioned it a few times now, but Traveller is newish game. I think it just came out early this year or the year before. And it's a game, once again, that's still played to this day. A lot of variants. Like there was a Babylon 5 Traveller. And it's one of the granddaddies of space sci-fi role-playing. And this is the beginnings of it. And people are starting to do mods for it in Dragon Magazine, which is nice to see. We're getting more than just D&D in here. And what was the other one? Petal of the Lotus Throne.
Petal of the
it was. Yeah. Notice we haven't heard those words in a few issues. So that's maybe
EPT,
the end of it.
Something Emperor of the Petal Throne.
Yeah.
Or Empire of the Petal Throne.
It's something like that. I know it's a play off of the Flower Wars of the Aztecs. So like if you know what it's supposed to be, you go, okay, I know what the guy's trying to do, but then the name does not roll off the tongue. It is wholly forgettable, and rightfully so, because it does get forgotten.
Oh, we'll see.
It doesn't turn into Gamma World like other games have. It turns into a memory of people reading a magazine from 40 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else got any other articles?
No articles.
Any other ads? Jack, do you got an ad?
I do. Let's. We are very close to it. We're going to go to page 22. So it is right next page, called Most Evil Far Beneath the Earth. And it is for the modules D1, D2, D3. It's got the Shrine of Koatoa, which I think I've played before, but also Vault of the Drow might be the first appearance of our dark-skinned elven overlords.
Yeah,
definitely played Vault of the Drow.
I played all 3 of these. And
I think I played all 3 of these too, actually, because they were the D ones were like the dungeon ones, so that was like the classic D&D ones. So
yeah. And what was the name of that girl? The drow goddess, or the drow spider god?
Lilith.
Oh. Was it Lilith? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was her coming age.
Let's see, I don't know if Drow were ever mentioned before this, because they're not. I don't think they're in the player's handbook for any reason.
No, they're in the monster manual, I think.
Oh yeah, monster manual, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But the main reason I bring it up is because they are the G's are the first run of the modules that you would have, and these are the second. So there's 3 G's, there's now 3 D's, and it says that you can play. Hopefully you would level up appropriately and it would work out that you could play the 3 Gs, go through and play the 3 Ds. So now you're starting to see campaigns rather than like maybe one-offs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a continuation of the G1, G2, and G3 series. And I like how they're named. They're the letter named in front of them kind of tells you what you're in for. G's for giant, D's for dungeon. Like, I think there's
or drow.
Like F is for like forest, and like there's other ones. But anyways,
well, the slave ones, slaves were A, so I don't know what that was about.
I don't know.
The slave masters.
A slave.
Yeah, 2 Mahors were S's. 2 Mountain and Imperium were S's.
Yeah, it did get confusing at some point. There wasn't a chronological order you could follow. If you went, okay, I want to start in the A's and work my way through to maybe get to C's.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
The B ones were Keep on the Borderlands that came out of the red box.
And those I played for sure.
Oh yeah, those are probably the first ones most people play because they're in the red box. Any other ads? Pat, do you give any ads?
I don't know if it's an ad, but we're going to go back to the centerfold, 16 and 17.
Oh yeah, this isn't an ad, but it's the I'm
surprised no one talked about this.
I forgot about it. I was going to talk about it. Remember last week I was like, I almost showed it by mistake. Oh, I did show it by mistake. But it's Gen Con Awards, and we have a picture. The very last picture is of our esteemed editor, Cask, looking like who's the guy from Dr. Druid? Jack, does he not look like Dr. Druid?
Oh yeah. I just want to know who the award girl is.
I know she must be some. She looks some. I like in the one with Cask. She's smiling and all the rest of them, but with Cask she's like not.
Yeah,
he's probably a little drunk in this picture. He's been hitting on her all day. Hey girl, come on! I'm gonna win that award.
But I didn't recognize it.
You want to go out with a winner, right?
Do you recognize any of these people's names? I don't in this particular one.
No, but I do know that they must have been really rocking a party because they had a ventriloquist as the entertainment at the banquet.
Yeah.
And doesn't he look like an actor that you would know, like he does not look like he fits into this.
The ventriloquist, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, if you want to see the clothing styles, the hairstyles, just what glasses looked like, this does look primitive. People who talk about oh, well, people should have known this back then. That was only 40 years ago. Look at these. Just look at these pictures. Like, those suits there are like, you're looking at
height
people
of fashion.
They couldn't even fathom what you take for granted every day. Like, plastic had just been invented, and they were losing their fool minds over that. Like,
I do like Steve Carpenter from Minifigs. He's got some nice mutton chops going on.
Yeah. Like, that used to pass for...
He looks like a hobbit.
Right beside him, Ed Symbol asked, doesn't that look like maybe Shane Knowles' dad?
Yeah, we're a buddy Shane.
He's from Texas.
Maybe that's weird. Maybe Shane is a vampire. We just discovered it. We'll call him Ed next time we see him.
Yeah, he'll just turn and look.
Ed, what? Yeah. Oh, you got me.
You got me. We'll be like, what was the girl's name? Why is she there?
Yeah. She's an attractive young lady.
I will say that it's too bad they split this picture down the middle because I'm piecing the words together as I can.
Right.
Of Gary Gygax is the one in the center. And it's the first caption of it says Gary Gygax of TSR challenging all comers to a fist fight.
Yeah.
And then Gary Gygax of TSR giving his famous impression
of Tom.
What's the last one?
It's because his hands are up like this, so they're just making fun of why he's...
He was probably saying something else, like, you know how public speakers are taught not to...
Well, I think he's slamming the desk like a certain,
Cask, you ass! Yeah. Do you remember when you... No, yeah, I know. Sorry, sir.
Yep.
Did we just find the picture of Shane as he was trying to prove his immortality?
We'll have to discuss this with him in a public place with broad daylight wearing garlic.
That was...
Yeah.
That's Gary Gygax doing his from the wall, the auditorium.
That's right.
He was when he had turned over to the dark side.
Yep, and Pink Guddle.
Put them up against the wall. Yeah,
that's funny.
Anyways, yeah.
So
that's what you have to look forward to if you go to the banquet in 1978 at Gen Con. It looked fun. I'm sure it was a fun time was had by all.
Oh, yeah.
And anything else, guys?
No, I think that's it for me.
We'll wrap up this episode of Dragon's Tome. Jack, do you have anything else?
No,
I saw you look at your notes.
I was just making sure. I was double checking. And can you actually see, how often do you see the book creep up?
All the time.
All the time, yeah. It's kind of your calling card now.
It's kind of your stick. That's why I assumed you were doing it on purpose, Jim. That's how often I saw it.
Really?
Yeah.
So
comment below if you think Jack's book is on purpose.
Like, I felt, to the point is I saw you do it so many times, over 20 episodes, I was thinking, maybe I should get my own notebook. And that's not a joke. That's not even a joke. I was being serious.
Anyways, enough of this issue. Issue 20. We made it 20 issues of Dragon Magazine. Here's to another 382.
400 something,
like
right?
Yeah,
4,000.
It's 450, right?
I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
And Jobber. Oh, Jinx.
And we'll be back next week for 21, and I'm sure some more shenanigans. See you there.
Bye-bye.